Welcome, welcome. We are at our final destination with the modules as far as the newest aspect to come on scene. I am Kiana Brathwaite, soon to be Kiana Jennings White, and we are talking about the 12 aspects of self, which allows us to journey through within and create a deeper relationship with ourselves. This particular module, module number 13, is environmental and familial. I put those two together because your family environment, I used to have familial separate, and for me, my family is part of my environment. I shared in one of the other modules, I am estranged from people in my family. Fortunately, as that estrangement was progressing, before it got to a point of complete estrangement, there were parts where I saw us growing apart. And I had already been, from a network relationship building perspective, creating relationships with people that I now choose, I call my chosen family. Now, the way that I define this is the places and spaces I find myself and those I choose to share my gifts, time, energy with, those whom I have given access to me. And so the reason why this came about recently and was not something that I was really focused on previously was there's a couple things behind this. For all of us, I think, family is the place where we're told you don't turn your back on family, and no matter what they do, you keep them in, and so forth and so on. And I was having experiences with family where they were either a detriment to myself or my children, and I had to make some very hard choices about those relationships. And then I also have recently found myself I was in an environment that was not good for my mental health, well-being, physiological health, and all the things, nor for my children. So I had to extricate us from that situation. And so as a result, I've been very conscientious, cognizant, aware of the environments in which I bring myself and my children to, and the impact that those environments have upon us, because your environment, whether it be career-oriented, home, familial, they have a significant influence and impact upon you. And recognizing this and holding space for this has been a game changer for me. As I said, I'm a generator, and my not self theme is frustration, and I have found myself in work environments where I have been so frustrated. I believe in one of the modules I talked about having I call it a pseudo heart attack. They were saying it was a panic attack, but I've never had anything like that before, and nothing since. And it was really my body was yelling at me because I was not listening to it. And so I had this experience which really jarred me when it came to work, because I knew that I loved what I did in different ways. And it filled my soul in different ways and was very fulfilling. There were other parts of it that weren't, and some of the colleagues and managers and supervisors and stuff that I had to deal with played a part in that environment not being in alignment and it not being conducive for my ability to be well and thrive. And so that's why I have incorporated this lucky number 13 here to pay attention to that for myself. Now, I did share a couple times that also in this, I talked about what this could look like as you're implementing and playing, the fact that this is something that you're building into your life, so to give yourself grace and space on that and allow it to flow in, like ebb and flow within your life as it wants to, because that'll give it room and space to grow and evolve. I also said that I would share with you a practice that I've been using, a tool that I've been using to support this practice, because I found that I stepped away from it and I wanted to be intentional and check in with myself about this as well. So there's a form that I have created, and I'll make sure that it's available in either the discussion section or, somewhere. I'll make sure it's available for you to be able to go in and access. It is a Google form that was created by my company, and it's just something that I use to really see where I am in these places. It is probably more conducive to those who's not self-theme. If you've studied any human design, for you, this would make sense if you understand what your not self-theme is, and it has to do with frustration. But this is also something that I think can be supportive for individuals who have no experience with their human design, because we all experience satisfaction and we all experience frustration, right? And then there's the neutrality of it. I'm just getting started. It's not even in my purview. I'm just aware of this. So that's where the neutrality piece falls in with the form. And it's not a form. It depends, right? This has been a practice for me for about 4 years. So I'm in a place where I can just jump into the form. I have created the definitions on the form. The form does have the definitions for each of the aspects. And so you can play around with it that way. Like I said, they're not really in any particular order as far as importance. It's just how I listed them. You can, whatever you want to do. I also have a calendar category that I've created for this particular practice in Google Calendars, because there are activities and events that I go to that support this practice. They're usually not, they're not activities that say, this is self-care and, this kind of thing, but they're more of activities that speak into one of these aspects and supporting me and caring for or focusing on or putting space and time into these aspects. So I will share the form. I am so happy that we have gotten to the end of this introduction, and I look forward to delving into them more and being in the discussions with you, and supporting you through what this looks like for you and your journey within yourself as you continue to nurture and build that relationship with yourself. As this is one of the most important relationships that you will ever have in your life, I am hoping that I was one that helped support you in growing that and creating self-compassion and self-love and kindness. This form that I'm sharing, that I'm going to share with you, is not to be used to admonish yourself or beat yourself up. It is really just a gauge to see where you are in the different aspects and give yourself, what I've done with it is not gone in and said, I got to fix this aspect, but been like, I'm frustrated there. That explains a lot. And really, as I have invited you in each module, really holding space for myself with those places where I'm finding myself frustrated, and allowing that frustration to build understanding for myself, and seeing what the roots and the fruits and the foundation of the frustration are. Is it internal or external? Is it both? And so it's been refreshing to not feel as though I have to give myself space to not feel like I have to fix it, but to also be able to just sit with it and be aware of it. I don't know if you could tell, I am definitely one who practices mindfulness and meditation. So caring for myself in these places when I find myself frustrated has been imperative and integral to really having a continued, evolving, beautiful relationship with myself. And please trust and understand. There have been moments, especially this year, that I moved through some things, and I have verbally abused myself mentally, internally, but through these practices have been able to hold space and kindness and forgive myself for that when things got really tough and rough. I know what I'm capable of, and when I'm not meeting that, a lot of times I get frustrated with myself, and it's like, well, why am I not meeting that? So then I come back to my practice, and it's like, okay, I'm not in alignment because these areas all are experiencing frustration, and now that I'm aware of that, I'm going to sit with it, and then I'll understand how to move. I want that. I am offering that. I'm inviting that for you. I'm holding that for you. But also, as I said, this has evolved, so it's taken me 4 years to get here. I'll share something my son said. I share another practice with my son. I have a ancestral practice that we engage with, and he was saying to me, he's like, you know, you did this thing the first time and it worked for you. And I was like, I've been working with this aspect of myself, this particular work, right? These tools, these practices for a number of years. You're just getting to start. And I don't ever want you to compare yourself to where I am, because there's a potential for him to surpass me. Actually, I can see it. And I compare myself to my mother and her art, her ability to she's an artist, and I was comparing myself to her when I was like 4 or 5, and I don't know what her journey was to get her to the point where her art was so beautiful and it spoke to me. And now that I look back on it and reflect it, I'm like, there's no way I should have been comparing myself to her, because my journey is my journey and hers is hers. And the same for my son. And so I want to share with you, your journey is your journey, and you do not need to compare yourself with anybody else, because our walks are very unique. And so I just want you to journey in and have fun with yourself. This is really an opportunity to really intentionally build that relationship and check in with yourself in these places. So I wish you all the best. I am so grateful that you were able to finish this. And I look forward to hearing you and seeing you in my next set of modules. Take care of yourself and enjoy your journey. Bye.